Hey guys, welcome back. Have you felt the ick of this hustle culture, of this like super productivity, go do more, go get a side hustle, go do all this other stuff that's out there right now? There's a really good reason why. And I thought I would dig into that a little bit today in this video. So I'm sitting a couple of months ago having a coffee with a friend of mine, and he's doing very, very well. He is increasing his revenue, his team size has doubled, and he's, by all intents and purposes, from a business perspective, really, really doing well. But he finds himself super dreading going into work. He finds himself just not happy with what he's designed. And sure, he could outsource and he could go back and look at things, but I think that if he would have taken a few minutes to really figure out what it was that he didn't want, as well as what he did want, I think there would have been a good balance there. And so I'd like to give you about 5 things today that will help you figure out this anti-goal framework. So you got to have goals. I like goals, but I also think that it's important to have some ideas on what it is that you don't want. Okay, let's dig into that. So number 1 is the psychology of why goals fail. All right, so there's this pleasure trap. Setting this goal is based on a dopamine hit that is going to fade if you don't hit those goals. But you can set boundaries. You can set this sort of anti-threat that you don't necessarily want to have inside of your life. So you can sit back and say like, well, I want to make $1 million. Well, that's great. But if you don't achieve that goal, you're not going to get the dopamine hit. But you can also say, I don't want to starve to death. And that's a really easy goal to kind of hit. And when you hit that goal and you don't have that bad thing, it's going to help you know that you've made some success points in there. So the point of this is to make sure that you look at the psychology of what's happening. So goals may not necessarily be the only metrics by which you want to look at. You may want to define some of what you have by looking at what you don't want to happen. So let's talk quickly about the psychology of why your goals are failing. First off, there is a pleasure trap. So traditional goal setting is based on dopamine hits that absolutely fade with time. So anti-goals are actually based on survival techniques, what you don't want, and that is much more sustainable. So even historically, humans are set to identify threats very, very easily. And so whenever you set what you don't want in your life, a threat, you start to basically build this cognitive load to where you can say, like, I know I don't want these things, so I need to make sure that I work at least hard enough not to have these things inside of my life. And so when you eliminate the bad, the hopes are, and what happens naturally is that the good starts to fill this. So you become more productive. You know that you don't want to have to work at night, so you become more productive during the day. And then you find yourself that you're being more productive and the good stuff starts to fill into that life. Now, here are 3 things that I think that you can do for part number 2, which is really realizing your Workday villains, what's really hurting you on your workday so that you can kind of build this anti-goal list, things that you don't want in your life. Number 1 is to look at your calendar and figure out what is it that is taking time from your schedule and it isn't necessary. So I don't want to go to this meeting anymore because it is redundant. Well, just eliminate that meeting if at all possible. So you know you don't want to do this thing, so it's eating up your time and you just be able to get rid of it. Let's talk about energy vampires. These are things that just take your energy. Types of communications, specific personalities, or maybe even like specific companies or something like that that you don't want to work with. So you make a list of these people, these types of people, these types of meetings or communication levels that you don't want to do anymore. I find myself now not liking to text on my phone. I find that I'm not as fast as that as if I jump on my computer and use the same format to text inside of my computer, because I type a lot faster, or using talk to text. I find that I don't want to have to be in a situation where I have to text anymore. So I can easily eliminate that by building some sort of system where I can use my computer for that. The never again list. This is something that I think that not enough people keep in their mind. Whenever you do something or you got roped into doing something and it turns out that you didn't like it and it didn't come out well, put it on the never again list. Put it on the list of things that I'm not doing anymore if I can avoid it. So that's definitely another framework for the anti-goal, is to make sure that you're auditing your calendar. Make sure you're looking for energy vampires, and then put the things on the never again list. Okay, are you guys ready? We're gonna inverse the strategy just a little bit. Okay, so this is engineering an inverse strategy. So I want you to start thinking about subtraction instead of addition. I know that that is anti-culture right now. I just read an article this morning that finding a side hustle and having two incomes is absolutely going the way of life right now. And I get it, things are expensive. But look, if we look at this on a micro level, start looking for things that you can subtract in your day. One major thing for me is going to the grocery store. So I have two options in my area. I can go to the big box store and I can park way out and I can take a long time and get everything that I want from one location. Or I can do this on a micro scale and I can try to find ways to get the big things, the items that I'm gonna have to have all the time, delivered. And then for things that I have to get on a daily basis, like maybe food or supplies for the house that I need right away, I just go into the smaller store. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a subtraction method rather than an addition method. So what I'm trying to say is look for things that you can subtract or get rid of in your day that aren't really necessary, so that you can basically have more time to do the things that you do want to do. Now, you also want to build a systematic defense. So it's got to be almost a computer related if this, then that. So if it's a situation to where you know that it's something that happens and you don't want this in your life, so you basically are going to say, okay, if I realize that I have to make this type of communication, I have to email over to my tax professional or something like that, I want to make sure that I bulk email that and we have this conversation, or maybe not email at all and we just do a phone call. That way I have one phone call and not ever. So now I know if I have to talk to my tax professional, schedule a phone call so that we can get it all done at once, not an incredible chain of emails that's going to go on forever. Now, this kind of works into our sales filter for my salespeople out there. I just want to say that disqualifying first, I know I've said it on this channel a ton of times, disqualifying first and upfront can save you a lot of time later to make sure that you're not wasting time in the wrong direction. For number 4, let's talk about boundary setting and communicating these boundaries. And I'm going to do this in an example. So you've closed the door to your office and you are trying to get some stuff done. You've allotted yourself a 25-minute break to just get deep into this deep work and get this stuff done. And you've set your timer, and then here comes the inevitable knock on the door. And the person opens the door and super apologizes, but they have some sort of problem that they want you to help them fix. Now, it is absolutely up to you to use this opportunity and these opportunities to set the boundaries so that people will not take advantage of your time. But how do you do that tactfully? How do you do that in a situation where, you know, like you don't want people to be a jerk? Well, let's take a look at exactly what's happening here. Now, if that person opens the door and I say, get out, now I'm the jerk. They're reacting to my reaction to what's going on inside of this situation. So instead, I find that actually highlighting what's happening here and actually helping them understand what it is from your perspective that they are doing, that makes perfect sense. So they knocked on the door, they opened the door, and they came in. It's easy enough for you to say, hey, look, you know, like, Greg, I really want to help out. I want to help you on your situation, but I've allotted 25 minutes for some deep work session here. I've got 10 minutes left. Can we do this after that? Is that okay? And the reality of it is now they're not reacting to you, they're reacting to what's actually happening here. They have full context and are on the same page as you are as to what's actually going on. This helps them. This gets it as such a situation to where they get the capability to say, oh, yeah, I get it. Like, I'm interrupting your day. No big deal. I can wait 10 minutes. It's absolutely not a fire drill. So let's get this done. Now, there are some basic rules at play here, and I'll leave you with a few pieces of information that you can go back and research yourself, but some basis on what we're going to do here. First off, there's a rule that 20% is causing 80%. So basically, 20% of the activities are probably causing 80% of your stress. I'm telling you to go through, do the audit, figure out what you don't like about things. What is this 20% that causing you problems, and start to eliminate them. Now, how do you do that? You do that with the daily audit that I've been talking about in this for a long time, the daily review. You have your checklist of what it is that you got done that day, and you can take notes on your day. Greg came into my office and it really bothered me. If you keep these notes and you can go back on your notes and look at what happened, you're going to identify easily this 20% of things that are sucking up your time and they are causing 80% of your stress. And in doing so, you can start to eliminate those things off of there. Now, if you need extra help, I highly suggest that you find a coach. I'm a coach and I can absolutely help. You can find my website below in the description, but I'd also love to hear the comments on the things that you're going to work on or the things that you think is interesting, and or maybe some of the techniques that I forgot that you left in here, or you can reach out and absolutely we can work together. The first consultation is free. We're just going to basically talk about where we go next, make sure that I can help you with the goals that you're setting. And I'll be honest, if I can't do it, I'll tell you about it. But there's a really good chance that working with a coach is going to help you move to the next level. And that's it. I hope that you took from today's lessons. I hope that you took some things that are going to help you eliminate the stress. It's sort of anti-culture, right? I mean, I don't necessarily love the idea that we live in this hustle culture and that you got to have 45 things going, but I like having a lot of different things going. We've talked about this a lot. I have a ton of different things that I do in a given day, and that's fantastic. But I'm only able to do those things because I eliminate things that cause me stress, or I outsource things that I don't want to do anymore. It's absolutely imperative that you take charge of your own schedule. I hope it helps. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.